Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl, the Brooke Ashley, and today we are here to discuss Kandi and the Gang, Season 1, Episode 4, and with all the drama that went down at the Oscars, this episode had a lot going on too. Alright, Miss Shandricka, it's not looking too good for you, my dear. But let me not jump ahead. With all that being said, let's just jump right on into it because we don't have a minute to spare. We start off the episode with Kandi and Todd discussing all the issues at OLG and how there needs to be a town hall meeting immediately just so that everybody can air out their grievances and be on the same page. OLG, in my opinion, needs a lot more than a town meeting. They need a lot of help. The staff is unhappy, management is unhappy. I think that Philip needs to be somewhere else because the way he keeps clashing with the staff, his attitude, it's just not a good look. This is a mess. And I think that Kandi and Todd are trying to put a band-aid on a pretty rough situation with just a town hall meeting. But I guess something is better than nothing. So now we flip to the next scene with everybody, for the most part, at OLG. It's the lunch rush. It's super busy. Shandricka's at the hostess stand, and we see Patrick and his girlfriend Safari come in. So obviously it's Patrick's off day. So I was just like, you know, of all the restaurants to go to, don't you want to get away from work? Like, why are you bringing your girlfriend here? Remember that Patrick and Shandricka have history. They were hooking up for like 4 months, so things are kind of awkward, a little tense. They barely say hi to her. She kind of ignores them. And I thought it was super petty of them to sit directly in front of her. I said, y'all can't go downstairs and sit at the bar there. It just felt like he wanted to get a reaction out of her. He seemed really eager to make her uncomfortable. And if I were Safari, I would have said, really? Like, let's sit somewhere else. Because you could tell that Safari felt the vibes too. And another reason why it's not the wisest, in my personal opinion, to date and sleep with somebody that you work with. Because when things go bad, and they usually do, it's always awkward and tense, especially when somebody moves on. So we see Patrick introducing his girlfriend Safari to Brandon. Brandon introduces himself, and then he invites them both to his upcoming birthday dinner. So they're like, okay, cool, you know, we'll be there. And then we see Torin come over. Torin finds out that Safari and Patrick no longer need his services when it comes to decorating the apartment. So Torin's like, wait, what? Like, when did you decide this? So now Patrick says, well, you know, man, Safari's my lady and she's going to take care of decorating. On top of Torin finding out that he's no longer going to be decorating Patrick and Melvin's apartment, he also finds out that Safari does not want Patrick to have a housewarming. Patrick gives a really weak excuse that his girlfriend doesn't want people knowing where he stays. I'm like, Patrick, you have a big mouth. Everybody knows that you live behind OLG. And remember that you're roommates with your cousin Melvin. I'm sure that they've been over. So, like, I don't understand all this secrecy. I'll just say this. Safari rubbed me the wrong way in this episode. I don't like how controlling she is. Patrick is a grown-ass man. If he wants to have a housewarming party, he's allowed to have a housewarming party. That is unacceptable that she doesn't want him to have a party. If she doesn't want Shandricka to be there, then just say that. But all this extra stuff now where he can't have a party, he can't do this, he can't do that, like, are you kidding me? You're his girlfriend, not his mother. And I could definitely understand Torin's frustration because after Patrick asked him for his help, now all of a sudden, it's like, okay, bro, we don't need your help anymore. Safari's gonna handle it. That's not right. Now, Torin and Shandricka go downstairs and they start chatting with Brandon and Dominique. So Shandricka says, of all the restaurants in Atlanta, why does Patrick need to come here with his girlfriend? Like, make it make sense. Torin is also annoyed. He says, well, guys, Patrick just fired me from doing his housewarming party and doing the interiors. So while Torin and Shandricka are going on about how irritated they are with Patrick, Dominique says that seeing what happened between Shandricka and Patrick, that's the real reason why she's kind of nervous to move ahead with Brandon. And again, I understand that because workplace romances are always kind of tricky. If things go south, then it's going to get awkward real fast, and one of y'all are going to be looking for another job.
Oh! Shout out to everybody. I had fun.
I gotta be good.
Now, in this conversation, Brandon turns to Dominique and he's asking if she's going to come to his birthday dinner. So she says that she's not going to come, and now he's kind of getting upset. So all of a sudden, we see the two of them go into the break room in front of the customers, mind you, and we can hear them kissing. Now, I got really irritated because the fact that Brian is suspended when he didn't even do anything, in my opinion, that's just really unfair. Because it's super unprofessional of Brandon and Dominique to be sneaking off in the break room while customers are watching to go and hook up. It seems like management lets the wrong stuff slide. I'm like, where are Philip and Don Juan when you need them? Because both Brandon and Dominique should have been fired for that, or at least suspended. Brian says one little thing, and all of a sudden it's World War III? Like, that's not fair. I'm really hoping that there is a reunion for this show. I don't care if it's 1 part, 2 parts, a 30-minute reunion, a Zoom reunion. I'll take whatever I can get. But I do hope that there's a reunion because I have some questions that need to be answered. And I would like to see what Kandi and Todd have to say about this stuff now since it's playing. So now we flip to the next scene. It is the day of the town hall meeting. Everybody is there except for Brian and Philip. Kandi felt like Philip shouldn't be there because she wants everybody to be able to speak freely without being scared. Now we see a parallel scene with Philip at home. He has one of his friends over named Andre. They're making some drinks and he's discussing the job. So Philip's going on about how he's clashed with a lot of the staff, how they don't like him, and then he starts talking about Torin being a diva. I was like, Torin came in with a nice attitude. He was friendly. He said, hi, my name is Torin. I'm the events manager. Like, what's your name? Like, it wasn't anything extra. So for you to call him a diva, it was like, what's that about? And I'm still really pissed at how he spoke to Brian last week and the fact that he would call for Brian to be suspended. Now we flip back to the town hall meeting, and I mean, everybody is there. Mama Joyce is there, Aunt Nora's there, Aunt Bertha's there. Everybody, honey, is in attendance to air out their grievances. Now, Kandi opens up the floor for everybody to speak their piece, and she starts it off with 2 of the servers named Marie and Juju. So they start discussing how the menus aren't wiped down. Shandricka's getting an attitude. Her and Marie get into it. I was like, Shawndreca, just do your job. Wipe the menus down. Like, it shouldn't be that difficult. And I noticed that Shandricka is very short-tempered because the way she just got mad at Marie, I was like, girl, it's not that deep. She was telling her to shut up. I was like, sis, you also need to learn how to speak to people too. So now Kandi and Todd are getting irritated because they feel like the staff is just coming up with excuses for why they can't do their jobs. So now Kandi says, look, how do you guys feel about Philip? So Melvin says that he actually likes Philip. He thinks that Philip does a great job and how they used to work together when Philip and Melvin were both at Blaze. So while Melvin is singing Philip's praises, Torin and everybody else are rolling their eyes. Torin says, well, I'm glad you feel that way, but me and him clashed and he feels like he's above people. So now Don Juan interrupts Torin and he starts mocking Torin. I'm like, Don Juan, for you to be in management, you're very immature. Why can't you just hear out what Torin has to say? The town meeting was for everybody to air out their grievances. So why can't Torin state how he feels? And Don Juan has seen firsthand that Philip gets nasty and has a bad attitude. So why is he defending Philip? Also, everybody can't be wrong about Philip. I mean, he has clashed with a good majority of the staff. So why is Don Juan acting surprised? Now, child, while this is going on, Shandricka is bored out of her mind, and Kandi notices it. So Kandi says, Shandricka, you've been awfully quiet this whole meeting because I heard that you had a lot to say about OLG. Child, Patrick starts singing like a canary, and he exposes everything that Shandricka was saying when they went out for drinks a few weeks ago. So Kandi calls her to the carpet, and Shandricka's face is stuck. She was not expecting that. But Shandricka, that's on you. Because how silly of you to think that Kandi's cousin would not report back to her. His loyalty is always going to be to OLG and Kandi first. So Shandricka is visibly pissed, she's nervous and shocked. And then she says, look, all I'm saying is that when Melvin's not here, the mac and cheese tastes differently. Here goes Mama Joyce chiming in, and she says, don't you ever talk about the food at OLG. Our food is the best food in Atlanta. I said, now, Mama Joyce, stop it. I've seen those Yelp reviews, and I've gotten a lot of feedback on Twitter. And the general consensus is that the food is way too damn salty, and the only thing good was the deviled eggs. So the best around, child. So now Kandi calls out Melvin, and she says, look, Melvin, the food needs to taste the same every single day. Like, we can't have any changes. So as the town hall meeting is winding down, Kandi lets it be known that they have to have more respect for each other. And on top of that, she wants to have a fun team building day to boost the morale. I said, Kandi, while team building is great, throw in some extra dollars, okay? Some extra vacation days, some more incentives, like just do more than team building because this staff needs a whole lot of help. What you really need to do is have Philip go to sensitivity training because his attitude is not it. So now Aunt Bertha interjects and she brings up the fact that one day Brandon didn't speak to her, he ignored her, and she said to herself that it will be a cold day in hell before she ever speaks to him again. So Brandon's like, wait a second, like what? Like, I didn't hear you, Aunt Bertha. I would never ignore you. So now he walks over to give her a hug, and she's like, get the hell away from me. I was like, Aunt Bertha, I'm sure Brandon would not ignore you. Like, I don't know. Maybe the restaurant was crowded. He didn't hear you. Aunt Bertha is too old to be so mean like this. I said, my God, everybody has a problem at OLG. I just said, can anybody get along? So the town hall meeting is over, and now we flip to another short scene with Patrick and Torin outside, and Torin wants to know what's up. He's like, what's the deal with you not wanting a housewarming party now? And he says that Safari is behind all of it. So Patrick goes on to say that he's whipped right now and how he's just so in love with her. And then he apologizes to Torin for taking him off of the interior design of his apartment. Torin accepts his apology, they're back on track, and now we see Patrick call up Safari about having the housewarming. She gets upset and hangs up the phone, and I was just like, why? Like, there's no reason to have an attitude. It's his apartment, he's allowed to have a party if he pleases. And if you're uncomfortable with the guest list, I'm sure he'll make some changes. I doubt that Shandricka is dying to go, and I don't think it's going to be a problem if he uninvites her. Like, it's not the end of the world. I just really don't like how immature Safari's acting. I was like, girl, can you get a grip, please? Now we do see that Patrick goes home, Safari's in bed, and they go over the guest list. So they decide to uninvite Shawndreca, and it looks like the housewarming party is back on track. I said, well, thank God.
Thank you, God. Thank you. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus.
We jump over to the next scene, and it is always a lovely surprise when Brian makes an appearance. We see him at home, Rashard comes over, and he's cooking Rashard some of his famous egg rolls. we learned that Brian's ultimate goal is to have his own food truck, and I'm here for it. I think that Brian's going to be a success. He has just a great personality, a great spirit, and I just love him. Like, I'm really pissed off at the fact that he's suspended. If anybody should be suspended, it should be Brandon, Dominique, Shandricka, anybody but Brian. So now Brian and Richard start talking about all the issues at OLG. They bring up how Brandon gives Dominique special treatment, how she was allowed to show up to work 3 hours late the other day, and that's unacceptable. Like, the fact that nobody else is noticing this or saying anything, that speaks volumes. And I was screaming when Richard said, look, you can't drink on the job, but you can go on and F the bartender. Like, really? And then when he said that management lacks intelligence, I said, you better say it. He said nothing wrong. And Brandon, in my opinion, is not cut out for the job either. He's just way too lax. He lets a lot of stuff slide, especially with Dominique. Like, that's just not a good leader. Now we jump to the next scene. It's the next day at OLG, and Don Juan pulls Kandi and Todd to the side, and he says, look, I have to tell you guys something. It's about Shandricka. After our town hall meeting, I was in the office, and I was looking at the cameras, and I saw and heard Brandon on the phone with Shandricka, and she was talking about you both like dogs. He plays the footage for Kandi and Todd, and you hear Shandricka on the phone with Brandon saying that Kandi and Todd don't give an F. So Kandi and Todd are both taken aback. They both say that that's really disrespectful, and they want to figure out what to do. I said, Shandricka can't catch a break. Like, damn. And we've all vented about jobs before. So she is not the first, and she will not be the last. Also, I wish Brandon would have gone outside when he had that conversation and not had her on speaker. Now we get to the night of Brandon's birthday dinner. His whole family is there. We learn that Brandon's family is from Jamaica, but then they came to America and moved to New York. And then they ended up relocating to Atlanta. So now most of his family lives in the ATL. So beautiful family. His mom was just so cute. And he is really anxious and excited because he really wants Dominique to show up. So he's telling his mom that he's seeing somebody special and he hopes that she's going to come, but he's not sure. And lo and behold, we see Torin and Dominique arrive. So Brandon is completely surprised. He is just so happy and giddy to see her. She looks pretty. I love how the mom embraced her as well, like very cute. And not gonna lie, I could actually see Brandon and Dominique going the distance and maybe getting married. It's clear that he is really focused and locked in on her. Like, he only sees her. It's cute. So while Brandon and Dominique are having a cute little moment, Patrick, Safari, and Torin are in a very awkward space. So now Torin and Safari talk one-on-one, and he's like, girl, when I met you, I thought that, the vibe was kind of off, and it kind of hurt my feelings when Patrick told me that I couldn't decorate his home. Then Torin goes on to add that he was embarrassed when he met Safari. So now Safari's like, oh my gosh, I'm sorry if I made you feel that way. Like, that's not my intention. Like, you seem really cool. And, I hope that we can, be cool going forward. So they squashed their little tension/beef, and now they're on the same page. And I would have felt the same way if I were Torin, because Safari wasn't the most welcoming. And the way she just came in, like, there's not going to be a housewarming party. No, I'm going to be taking care of the decorating. Like, I would have felt annoyed too. So I definitely could see where Torin was coming from about Safari and her attitude and why things felt kind of awkward. But that's also on Patrick too, because the way he spilled the beans about Torin no longer being a part of the party and, decorating the apartment, he did it in such an awkward way, and to do it in front of Safari, it made things really weird. Now we end this episode with Kandi and Todd arriving to OLG, and they are ready to confront Shandricka about her little outburst that she had on the phone with Brandon. So they pull Shandricka outside to talk, and Kandi starts it off by saying, "You didn't have much to say at the town hall meeting, but we heard that you said that me and Todd don't give an F." So Shandricka is shocked, but she's denying it. Like, wait, what? I didn't say that. Like, who said that? Like, who told you that? So now Shawndreca starts deflecting, and she says that everybody was talking after the meeting, not just her. So now Todd interjects and says, look, as the owners, we need you guys to be on your A game. We have to be able to trust you guys, and we also rely on you. So now Shawndreca's getting more flustered, and she keeps asking, who told y'all this? So Kandi's like, look, just know that we know, okay? We know what you said verbatim. Like, believe that. So Shawndreca is really freaking out now. So now in her confessional, she says that she's throwing everybody under the bus because it wasn't just her. Then Kandi wants to know, does Shawndreca want to be at OLG or does she want out? And the episode ends with Shawndreca pretty much trembling, and we're going to find out her answer in the next episode. But I think that is crazy that Don Juan caught all that on camera. I was like, Brandon, I wish you had just gone outside, because you know that Don Juan could not wait to tell Kandi and Todd that. He is always the bearer of bad news. Now, is that disrespectful to say? Yes. Is that the worst thing that's been said? No. Shawndreca wasn't calling them out of their name. Thank God. She wasn't saying anything just so crazy, but she feels like they don't care. Was the language a bit harsh? Yes. But it's not the worst thing that's been said. But we'll see if Shawndreca stays or goes. It might not be a good look, because Don Juan was talking about how she would have been fired if this were his establishment. I said, Don Juan, tell us something that we don't know, because if it were up to you, nobody would be on payroll except for you, because you don't like anybody. But again, that was the episode, and I have to say, I'm really enjoying Kandi's spinoff. It's a cute show. The hour goes by fast. The staff is funny and engaging. I'm liking it. I had my doubts, but I'm pleasantly surprised. But y'all, thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. And as always, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you all later. Bye.